Hello everyone. I am glad to welcome you to another lesson dedicated to working in 3D Scan. In this lesson, we will look at the procedure for registration of point clouds. Registration is the process of aligning multiple point clouds relative to each other. The need for registration arises, for example, when using a terrestrial laser scanner. The object is scanned from various positions to obtain the most possible information about the geometry of its surface. Each scan is made in a coordinate system linked to the scanner. If you load multiple scans of the same object into the document, they will not align. Let's try to import the laser scanning results prepared beforehand. To do this, in the Point Clouds tab, select the Import command in the group of the same name. Now choose our scans in the PTX format and open them in the program. After some time, the Import Settings window will appear. First, let's make sure that the initial cloud is in meters and that point thinning is not applied. In the Import Settings field, specify that this cloud should be imported into the program in meters and set the separation to by files. It is important to always specify this setting when importing a cloud that is composed of multiple files. Otherwise, the cloud will be a single entity, and we will not be able to perform any actions with it. Let's also pay attention to the preview. We see that there are points located far from the main cloud, which are most likely erroneous, so let's exclude them from the import. To exclude them from the import, use the On-Off Selection command on the side panel of the preview area and select the area we need. Let's also make sure that the other clouds are in this selected area. Click OK. There will be a warning that block overlap has occurred. Confirm their loading by clicking Yes and wait for the import to complete. Don't forget to save the file. We see that our clouds are displayed in the program. Now let's change the display style using the View Mode command in the Settings group. Select all the clouds with a selection box to apply the visual style to all of them at once. In the Coloring field, select the Scan Color display style. Click OK and switch to the isometric view. We see that in isometry, these clouds represent some unclear entity, which we now need to work on. Usually for simplification of alignment, so-called targets are used objects that can be easily identified in the point cloud. By determining the centers of the targets in the point cloud in one way or another, we obtain the coordinates of reference points for subsequent registration. Reference points belonging to one scan are grouped into reference point groups. To distinguish one group from another, they are assigned unique names. Each reference point is also assigned a name. All reference points obtained from recognizing the same target on different scans must have identical names. These names allow us to uniquely match reference points from different groups. Let's import the reference points into the program. To do this, on the Point Clouds tab in the Point Cloud group, click the Import Reference Points command. Open the path where the reference point data is stored in the TXT format. Select all the files and click Open. Now open the panel for registering these points by clicking the registration icon in the Point Cloud group. In this panel, click on the registration item at the top and select Add Reference Point. Select all groups and move them to the right using the transfer icon. Click OK, and we see that the groups are displayed in the corresponding Groups tab and the points themselves in the Reference Points tab. Notice the drawing where all the group points are displayed. All points are colored. Points of the same color indicate belonging to the same group. Notice the panel and go to the Groups tab. When stitching point clouds, it is important to set one of the groups as the base group based on which the stitching will be done. In this case, by going to the Reference Points tab, you can see that the third group has the most common points with the other groups. Go back to the Groups tab, right-click on Scan 003, and select Set Base. Now, at the top of the panel, select the Registration menu and choose Register. Here, two stitching options will be offered: pairwise and iterative. Pairwise registration is used in most cases. For pairwise registration, two groups must have at least 3 reference points with the same names. Iterative registration is used when pairwise registration is not possible. With this registration method, there is a sequential approximation to the specified accuracy. You can read more about this information in the help by pressing the F1 key. In our case, we should choose the pairwise option. As we can see, the points have changed their position on the drawing. And now, when zooming in on points that had the same names in different documents and are marked with different colors, they are concentrated together. This means that the cloud registration has occurred, and we need to apply the transformation to the cloud. To do this, in the Registration panel, select the Registration menu and choose Apply Transformations. A window will appear that allows you to mutually align reference points and clouds. In our case, we need to align groups of reference points and clouds with the same names. For this case, there is a checkbox at the top labeled "To the same names." Check it and click Apply. As we can see, all the clouds are aligned correctly, and now it looks like an apartment. We can walk through it a bit using the Walk or Fly command in the Navigation group. In the next 2 lessons, we'll consider the topic of layer-by-layer vectorization using the example of a compressor and an office. Thank you for your attention. See you in the next lessons.